Hello, ST Filmmaker here. I thought this Halloween I'd decide to do something fun. So I decided to do a little audio here to come up with a game I'd like you all to play. The game is really simple, it's strictly audio only. So if you have a microphone, use it. If you don't, simply record with your camera and use editing software to extract the audio before posting it. I'm going to start a scary story tag. I'm going to start a story, and I'm going to tag someone to continue where I left off. And they tag someone to do the same, and so forth and so on. Since every story has an ending, there's going to be 10 storytellers in my tag alone in total, and each person who gets tagged would mark how many is left to go. The last one tagged has to come up with the ending of the story. The rules are simple. As I mentioned before, it's audio only. You can put music on it, but it has to be royalty free, plus scary. Your chapter can be as long or as short as you want it, but be creative. Have fun, otherwise what's the point? Be as funny or as gruesome as you want. Lastly, when the ending is done, send your clips to me. I will provide the email address to send it to. Since I'm the first, that makes 9 more to go. It was a brisk, cool day in a small, quiet village. A village surrounded by acres of forest. The villagers gathered round for the annual All Hallows Eve festival. Pumpkins were being carved, candy was being laid out in huge concave bowls, and kids were preparing their costumes. 2 kids in particular, a boy and a girl, were dressing up as a goblin and a ghost.
This is boring,
the goblin said.
Every year we do the same thing. We dress up, get candy, and go home and wait until our parents are done drinking special punch.
To which the ghost replied,
Don't knock it, Gobby. Halloween's always been fun to me. All those neat costumes, you'd think the monsters out there were real.
The goblin huffed and said,
That's what I really hate the most. They aren't real. I've been through 12 Halloweens right now, and not once have I seen a single monster. No ghosts, no goblins, no witches. Well, one witch.
The ghost turned around and said,
I hope you don't mean me, because if you do, I'll go Lucy Van Pelt on you.
The goblin laughed a little and said,
You couldn't hit me if I stole your chair with you in it. Besides, I wasn't talking about you, I was talking about her.
He pointed with his rubber-gloved finger to a strange figure standing only a few inches behind the ghost. She turns around and gasps, standing behind the goblin in fear. Despite their bickering, the ghost can always count on him for protection. The figure was a tall, hooded person with stringy gray hair and a face that seen better days half a century ago, judging by the many wrinkles that surrounded her dark eyes and toothy smile. The figure was pale white in the face and hands, which were the only things that showed out from under the black long robe.
Nice costume, lady,
the goblin said. He imagined his voice to be as brave as the knights of old, but in reality he was just as scared and confused as the ghost. The lady cackled and raised her bony, wart-ridden finger at the two, pointing especially at the goblin.
Costume?
She says in a raspy tone.
This is not a costume, I assure you. I just couldn't help but overhear your little spat about monsters.
The goblin adjusted his mask nervously.
What's it to you?
He said. The witch cackled even more, as the sound of thunder lit up the sky, briefly blinding the two with a white flash. The villagers didn't seem to be bothered by it. It was like they didn't even see it at all, and continued on with their preparations. All the kids in the village, however, including the 2 standing before the witch, have reacted all the same, scared and confused. Especially since the forecast stated it wasn't going to rain, let alone a thunderstorm.
You see,
the witch began.
I know for a fact that monsters are real. I also know where you can find them.
The goblin laughed it off, while the ghost was shaking nervously.
Now I know you're pulling my leg. There are no monsters here, there never were.
He said. The witch cackled even louder as a bolt of lightning struck the nearest tree, causing it to burst into smoky flame. What was left fell over, going deeper into the woods, causing a trail of ash and fire.
Prove me wrong.
The witch said.
Follow that trail and you'll see your monsters. You might learn to appreciate this holiday even more after you find what you're looking for.
And with one last cackle, followed by a final bolt of white light, the witch was gone. The goblin decides to follow the trail laid out before him, but finds himself unable to move. He looks behind him to see the ghost clinging onto his arm, holding him back.
Let me go.
He said, to which the ghost spat back.
No, I don't trust that woman. You might get hurt.